Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 44th episode of the PokéSells official podcast. My name is Rocco Mitchell, and I'm your host. And this week we have a very special guest, probably one of the biggest Japanese high end collectors, I believe, in the world, or at least in the US market, I know, and probably the world. But that is Jay Houston. Thank you for coming on so much. I first saw you in I believe it was Chicago about 2 weekends ago. Um, and I think I followed you on Instagram and I just hit you up because you're obviously like a very big high-end Japanese collector. And I thought that would be something really cool to talk about on this podcast and other stuff. But if you could just introduce yourself, Jay, for everyone at home.
Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Jay Houston. I'm probably not the biggest collector, but I've been collecting Japanese for a while, and I have strong faith with Japanese cards. And if you like me, you can follow my Instagram page, Jay Houston
Yeah,
BGC.
awesome. Well, thank you for that. And yeah, so I kind of said how we met. You were really big into Japanese. I know you've done multiple deals. I think you did a big poncho deal a couple days ago. I think if I saw correctly on your story. But first, before we begin, like, just what's your like Pokemon backstory, I guess, or like how did you get into Pokemon and all that type of stuff?
Yeah, it was in 2024 August, and that was the first time I actually could buy something in Target. I found
Mhm.
the 151 UPC, and I bought two with my ex-girlfriend, and we went to rip them. And eventually, I got the Charizard. So I got back into the Pokemon because the 151 Charizard.
Mhm.
And at that point, I just started to looking for those high-end Pokemon cards. The first
Mhm.
thing came to my eye was the Poncho.
Mhm.
Then I just started to look for the price. Oh, they were expensive back then. It was like $5,000 to $6,000. It's not that expensive compared to now, but
Mhm.
back then all the Giratinas, Rayquaza, they're all a couple $100,
Mhm.
and 5,000 to 6,000 in Pokemon was really expensive.
Mhm.
And I just at that time I had some money saved from my work and my other investments, so I was like, I like those cards. I want to buy those. I went all in. I bought all those set, the Poncho set, Evolution set, and Latios, and
Mhm.
all the Umbreon from E-Raiders. And I'm like, okay, I'm done. I'm all set. These are the cards I like, and I'll keep them forever.
Mhm.
That was probably how I started my Pokemon.
Cool. That's awesome. So you said August 2024. So that was last year. So that was kind of before like the big boom, no?
Yeah, it was before the
Before,
big boom.
yeah, that's really cool. And that's awesome. I love the ponchos myself. Like I think of like a end goal for me is to have a black label poncho. I'd love to have that. I think that'd be so sick. Um, but I think that those guys, like those cards are amazing. Um, so you said the ponchos, Latias. The evolution line, what do you mean by that? Like the evolution, like
All
151?
of the evolutions.
Oh, the evolutions.
Eevee
Okay,
set,
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Okay, cool. That's really cool. And then you said the
E-readers,
your
Umbreon.
e-readers. Yeah, yeah. That's really cool. So like all like the high or like the grail like big grail cards, which is really cool. And I'm sure that that was a very obviously you said that was a very pricey investment, but I'm sure it paid off. And that's really cool. So you started collecting that, and then so obviously you I guess vend now. So kind of what was like your transition between that into vending Pokemon, or kind of did you start it at the same time?
Um, the vending, I would say, I started with I noticing that in Japan there's a buyback program. A lot of people don't know what that means. It means basically Japanese store will list out a poster with the cards they want to buy back, and they will list out the price so you can
Mhm.
calculate how much it is in USD. And usually it depends on the condition of the card. Every
Mhm.
card is PSA 10, but each PSA 10 is different. Some of them are black
Mhm.
label candidates, some of them are just lucky 10s.
Mhm.
And if your card is in a good condition, the Japanese store will pay you about the sticker on the poster.
Okay.
So I noticed that, and I did some math. when I go to the car shows, I started with the all those Japanese trainer cars,
Hmm.
and I noticed there's a big gap. Like I buy those cars in US, I can sell to Japan for much higher.
Hmm.
Then I started this. It was first I buying from US, selling to Japan. Then after a couple weeks and a couple cars, I realized some cars actually in Japan is cheaper than US. For example, like back then the Ponchos was cheaper,
Hmm.
and a lot of the monster cars are cheaper in Japan than here. Like Mewtwo, specific Pokemon's Mewtwo, Charizards, and like Umbreon, they're all cheaper in Japan. So I just started to importing monster cars, exporting trainer cars.
Hmm. That's cool. So you're kind of like wholesaling, I guess, to Japanese stores and like picking up for them and kind of like middlemaning for them
Yeah,
in a
kind
way,
of like a
correct?
middleman between, yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. And that's awesome that you're able to like kind of figure that out and find that between like like Japan and the US markets, and it's really cool. And actually, this is not really related to Pokemon at all. But I saw something today. I think it was like chrome hearts, so like high end like vintage clothing and like watches. I think sometimes are like cheaper in Japan for like the quality that they are because like a lot of it's taken there. So like what you're kind of talking about, like they're a little bit cheaper in Japan or they're cheaper in US and you're bringing it over, is something that is seen like a lot in different types of markets and like other things, which I thought was really cool.
Yep,
Um, and I thought that that makes sense that it would be the same with Pokemon, and that's really cool, especially like finding people that go over there, and like make trips out of it and stuff. But that's really cool.
yep.
So you started doing that, and then selling that, and then so you don't really do that no more. I would assume, right? You're kind of just like a show vendor.
I still do that. Like, I still grade a lot of the Japanese trainer cars, and whenever I
Yeah.
had chance, people trade me those high-end Japanese car like Rayquaza VMAX, Umbreon VMAX. Those cars doesn't have a strong sell or like they're kind of breaks, hard to move
Hmm.
in the US. And people in here willing to trade me. And after they trade me, I will just sell to Japan, sell to
Offload.
China, wherever I have the buyer. The
Hmm.
thing about it's not that easy for you to sell in the Japan because in Japan you need to have a citizenship to sell your cars.
Hmm.
So you need to kind of have still kind of have to have a middleman in Japan to do that
Hmm.
stuff for you.
Yeah.
So it's not like oh I can reach out to the shop like how are you? I'll sell you these and pay me. You still need someone to do all the errands for you, because
Hmm.
each shop they don't always buy like 20 Poncho Charizard X. Maybe the shop only need one. The other shop need another one. So the guy needs to go around the entire Japan to help you sell those cars by shop
Hmm.
to shop.
That's cool. Interesting. That's really cool. I didn't know that about you need to be a Japanese citizen. That's really interesting, and really that's really cool, and it makes sense. And that's like kind of like what you're saying is, and that's something that I recently found because I recently found like middleman is like really fun, and like it's also like a really great way to like move around stuff at shows. You know, you take like a small commission of the sale or whatever, but like just being able to like connect people to people. So like for example, there was a lot of people offloading a bunch of junk slabs, and I knew the guy that or wanting to move like junk slabs or like you said like bricks or something like that, very similar. And it was like, oh, I know all the people. I know some people that want to do it. You know, they're at their table. Let me just walk it to the table. I'll get you cashed out, and then I take a little cut of it. Um, and I
Yeah,
think
I've
that.
seen those that they sell to streamers to PSA for a
Mhm.
higher percentage and they cash you out for a
Mhm.
lower percentage. I mean, Pokemon is a human business eventually. It's like
Mhm.
we have we are always just linking the people. Someone want to
Mhm.
sell you, you buy it. Someone want to buy it, you sell to them. It's
Mhm.
just like that easy.
Yeah, I think that's really cool, and that there's really however you want to do it, like, or for example, like what I was doing, I lost some money on the deal, so I was like, oh, let me move like these couple cars for these people. I get my commission, I make my money back, type
Yeah.
thing. And it's all about like your net worth is your network type thing, where you're like the more people the more business you're going to be able to do, the more. Um, the more money you're just going to be able to generate for everyone, and that's going to just help everyone, and also build like reputation and stuff like that within the space, which I think is like really really cool.
Yeah,
Um,
at the beginning, I just already know. In the
mhm,
Pokemon, it's like it go big or go home. I don't
mhm,
want to be some kind of like oh selling one card on Facebook Market.
mhm,
That's all I have. I only have a Rayquaza VMAX,
mhm.
1400, 1500, and I want to be the kind of like I have 50 Rayquazas. How many you
Yeah, yeah,
need?
yeah.
If I sell one, still have another one like loaded. And
Mhm.
I have a lot other cards you can select. The ponchos, the everything. I only have like a touch of everything, so my buyers will be like more interested in what I have.
Yeah. No, I think that's awesome. And what you said, like, um, like what you're saying about, wait, shoot, sorry for I lost my train of thought. But what you're saying about, sorry, like go big or go home. I think you said something. I saw something you say that like before, but that's like really, it's true. Like, and I don't know if you know, Reed, Reed, RJS or someone. His
I've
name's
read it.
RJS Reed.
Yeah,
Yeah, Reed.
RJS Expos, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. He something that he told me and that I learned from him on my podcast was that um it was like the more that you have, like the more like either cards you have, the more like inventory or et cetera, whatever it might be, people are going to be attracted to that. If you have a whole bunch, 5 tables at Collecticon that are filled to the top with sealed, people that are wanting to sell sealed are going to want to sell it to you because they they want they see that you have a whole bunch of it. People look at you, they're like, oh, this guy has a bunch of Japanese stuff. I'm sure people know your name through like different contacts and stuff like that. They're like, okay, this is the people to go to like that. And like
Yep.
to be like, you want to be like the household name in that niche type of thing. Like
Yeah,
you want to be,
you need to be always first is inventory ready. When people want something, you need to tell them, oh, I have
mhm,
it. And you
mhm,
also need to be cash ready. I'm
mhm,
not talking like 500, 2,000 ready. You need to be like 50 grand, 60 grand ready when the people come to you, yo, I have this lot. It's couple ponchos, couple whatever, the festas. They add up like 40 grand. I'll sell you for like 35 grand. And at that moment, you'll be like, oh, I don't have money. That kind of thing will hurts your revenues because you'll always like you will always lose the chances to make more money or like
mhm,
getting more inventory. And the
mhm,
third one is you will always have to post to something like beautiful and good. Let people know you have these cards. Like
mhm,
I always post like 10 ponchos together, 10 festas together, 10
mhm,
munches together. It's kind of like like a nuclear bomb in when you see
mhm.
that in the post.
Yeah.
Usually the people will post like one card and they'll hold like this, and I'll just put like 20 ponchos right there, and
Yeah.
that kind of thing just attracts people's mind and eye.
Yeah, and if they're gonna see it, so then they're gonna be like, "Oh, I want to do business with this person," or "I know this guy's like a reliable person to do business with," or whatever it might be.
Hmm.
And I think that that's like very true, and that's very cool. That that's something that you notice, and that I'm starting to learn as I'm starting to grow. Like, so I built this pretty much from zero. Like, I had like $200, and like I've been scaling it.
That's very
And
great.
yeah, and that's kind of like some the stuff as I'm learning, because obviously, I'm not like super, I'm not heavy cash ready. I'll go to a show with like a grand or something like that. But like it's good to be in that mindset and already know, because I know that when I get to that place, I'll be okay, this is how to do business. I'm learning now so that when I'm there, it's like, okay, I know how this works. I have multiple friends, multiple people I've talked to that have been in this space for a long time, and that it's like going to be fun. And that's like I know how to conduct business and how the markets work at that time, which I
Yeah.
think is like something cool.
Pokemon is kind of like getting to like an expensive hobby on the high end cards.
Hmm.
With a grand or 2 grand, you can't find many cards to
Hmm.
buy. Even if
Hmm.
someone come to you offloading you a couple of tag teams and a lovebird, it will cost you 15 to 20,000 dollars.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I know. Yeah, and that's why like there's different, I think, like price points. Like there's different areas where people like make their niche. For example, like for there's people that I know that do only singles, and they do
Oh yeah, yeah,
like they only do, for example, $10 to $20 singles, and that's all they sell, for example. Or like there's people that only do super high end like you, or there's people that do more mid range like $200 to $500 slabs, and maybe, excuse me, maybe like $25 to $100 singles or whatever. Like they found their niche and what makes the most amount of money for them, so
yep,
they're gonna stick to that and they're gonna like work with that.
yep.
And something I wanted to say, like something that it's obviously not a crazy amount, but something that like I've found very cool and something that I'm looking a lot more into is like PSA one markets. So over the weekend, like I picked up like a set like this. I have the sequential PSA one set,
Oh,
which I
that's sick. The dragon, is that the dragon yet?
yeah yeah. So it's Latios and then Latios, but it's like the old mid era stuff. It's like a sequential set, like stuff like this. Like I have this Charizard, like it's so cooked
Yeah,
on the back. But like it's something that I found that I one enjoy. You enjoy to like you said like have like super high end Japanese cards. This is something that I've enjoyed, and something that I know in Chicago especially like I probably picked up like 7 to 10 like PSA ones over the weekend, and they like all sold immediately.
that's
So I'm like,
sick.
okay. So I'm like, okay, this is something that I know sells for me. So let me just keep on sticking to it. Um, I have a I have a PSA submission that probably is going out either this week or next week. And literally, like, I have 10 cards that are all PSA 1 contenders. Not 10. I have a couple cards that,
Commanders,
yeah, yeah,
commanders.
yeah. I have like a couple that will be PSA 10, obviously, but then,
Mm.
or contenders for that. But then I have a whole bunch that are PSA 1 because I'm like, okay, this is something that I'm noticing. It's very, I think, undervalued right now in the market. It's something that I think will do really cool. And then it's really cool. I enjoy it. So let's just lock in and work on it.
Yeah,
So I think
Loki,
it's really
that's a
cool.
good one because some people do want the PSA protection of the slab, but they also want a card, but they don't want to pay the too high price. So PSA one is kind of like a perfect combination with the card and the guard.
hmm Exactly. So,
Yeah,
and the markets are not that the markets are weird, but it's like obviously it's cheaper than the 10, but and I think like these cards have more like they have more story to it. Obviously, like if you find this pot, like for example, you went to I don't know a garage sale and you found like let's just say you found a poncho and you graded it, it gets a 10. Obviously, that's a crazy story. But then it's like, for example, this card is like super cooked. This Charizard. It's like I wonder what the kid that had this like was thinking when he like brought it in or something like that, you know? Like it's just there's a lot of stories to these types of cards. So it's something that I'm like gonna experiment with and look into and all that type of stuff. But
hmm,
that and then like singles, so I do like TCG player and I'm gonna start streaming and stuff like that soon. But I've been able to find like a really good market and it works for me with like singles and stuff like this, like
oh,
really cheap
singles
singles.
does sell well. Yeah,
Yeah.
especially you need a bigger exposure of the singles because a lot of the normal vendors wants to collect singles too.
hmm
Mm, I would say high end is more like a niche market, and
hmm
most of people still buying the singles and the smaller slabs.
hmm Yeah, and that's why I think that it's like you said, like yeah, very niche markets, and it's very it's what's the saying? It's like the riches are in the niches or something like that. And it's like something that I think is really cool. And obviously, like margins are going to be different if you're paying 80% for a poncho. I don't even know if that's like what you'd pay, but let's say a poncho 10 is like what right now it's like five. No, it's like 10 grand, right? A poncho
Depends on
monster.
which one. Usually, each poncho you don't make that kind of crazy money. You need to
Mm-hmm,
pay about at least 90% for a poncho. So
mm-hmm,
if the Charizard X sell for 10K, you would probably need 9K for it. And usually you don't sell around 10K. You sell around like 9,800, 9,900.
mm-hmm,
So each of them you probably get around like I would say 7% ish would be
mm-hmm,
good as like flipping them. But most of the people wanted the ponchos for the 80% trade from the other vendors or collectors. Then they
mm-hmm,
can turn the 9K investment into a 12K, 13K worth slot.
mm-hmm. Yes, and that's like a trade bait type thing or something like that,
Yeah,
which I
yeah,
think is very, very, which is good and is really cool. And obviously, like you said, it brings eyes, it brings attention and stuff like that. And that's kind of like what's the most important thing about it. And like it conducts more business, which I think is really cool.
yep.
Um, So that's really cool. You obviously talked a lot about like you've vended, you've done shows and stuff like that. What has been your favorite convention or shows that you've done? Like I know obviously you do collecticons and stuff like that. Do you do like local shows or are there like international shows you've been to that you find really cool? Or like what's kind of been your favorite show that you've done while you've been vending?
I would say the Houston and Dallas, we have a show called Mint Exchange. That show is
Mhm,
pretty gas, and also the Gem Mint car show. These two are held by the one of the two biggest vendors and car shop in Houston area, and
mhm.
they've been doing more regularly time on the shows. And I'm also looking forward to attend most of them.
Cool. That's awesome. What are they like every other week type things or are they
Mm,
like
they are pretty big too. They need to rent like a big venue, so it's not like a bi-weekly thing. It's usually like a couple months they hold one, couple months they
Mhm.
hold one.
Yeah,
So the name is called Mint Exchange. If you're interested, you're
yeah.
welcome to join too.
Yeah, I'll look into it for sure. Um and there, let me put that in my notes. I'm looking to like going to different shows and stuff like that, especially after high school.
Yeah,
But that's really cool. I've been sticking more to local shows. Um, but that's super cool. And also that like a card shop runs them is also like really really cool. And like vendors and card shop, I think
yeah.
is awesome. Um, so cool. Those like is they're like weekend shows, no?
They are weekend shows, and it just depends on the weekend. If they're conflicting with the Collecticon, I will probably go Collecticon. If they're not, I will just go to the local shows.
Cool. That's awesome. And you've gone to the next couple, there's a couple collecticons I think near you, right? The next one's Houston, right? Next is
Actually,
that
the
next week?
last three, I will all be going the Houston, Dallas, New Jersey, San Antonio, Los Angeles. These five, I'm locked in.
Awesome. That's all. We have well, my friend has tables for LA and I'm looking forward to um hopefully getting some tables and hopefully doing that. Fingers crossed, obviously, that I can go
Yeah,
and make it. But I think that would be really cool to end the year at LA Collecticon. But that's really really cool. I have some family in Texas, but I don't think that we have like I don't. It wouldn't make sense for us to go to any of the Texas ones.
you can
But
be a buyer too.
yeah,
A
yeah,
lot of
that's true.
people going to collect the comp as a buyer. They sweep all those table 80%, 85%, and they doing the after that they doing the one not stream
Mhm,
or sell at their local shows. Collect account is a great chance for you to meet a lot of people, and a lot of people they they don't go to the local shows. They only go to the collect account for some reason. The collect
mhm.
accounts popularity is just a little different than most local shows.
Yeah, they've definitely become like a household name within the hobby space for sure.
Yeah.
And they're definitely like obviously the biggest show. And I know for what was it? Is it Houston that they're doing the Mexican OT? I think that dropped today, right, or something like
Really?
that. Yeah, yeah. He's like gonna be one of the I think the um artist or something like that. I don't know if it's Houston or I think it's Houston. I don't know if it's Houston or Dallas, but it's one of the like Texas ones.
Okay, I'll
The
definitely
biggest one.
take a look.
Yeah, but I think that I saw that earlier today, and I think that's gonna be really really cool. That's really fun. Because and I love how like they bring people like you would have never think that those types of people would be at a Pokemon show, you know, or like a collectible show, and like how Collecticon's able just like meld it and all that type of stuff. And I think that's something fascinating like about collectibles is that they were able like they bring people from literally everywhere. And I know you've probably seen this from doing stuff overseas and stuff like that. Like especially a lot of like private buyers, I think in like Japan and China, like they're very like they're people that you wouldn't think probably be into Pokemon, but they are into Pokemon, or they
Yeah,
collect it for investments or as an alternative form of holding their money or something like that, which I think is really cool.
yeah.
Um, so I
I've
don't know. Have you?
met players like NBA players. I've been sold to
Mhm,
NFL players. I've been sold to um, artists. I've been sold to, and even some corporate executives. I've been sold to
mhm,
some lawyers, attorneys, doctors. I've been sold to all kinds of like the job. They all like to do
mhm,
in Pokemon. It's
mhm.
it's Pokemon is something that already you know already Pokemon is something that all kinds of people, all generations like. That's the
Hmm.
great thing about Pokemon. And you show your card, and one people facing a Pokemon card, they're all equal. There's no like different in the level or something. Everybody just be like, "Wow, your card is so cool. Wow, that card is so cool. Your collection is cool." And I think that's the best part about Pokemon that can gather people all together.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. It's like it equalizes everyone. It makes everyone equal. And like I love that you said that and like it kind of like just brings everyone together on a different level, like it doesn't matter who you are, what you do, like everyone is brought at a different level. And you could be like I don't know, like a 10-year-old kid that's like has like a super tiny binder and it's full of like just some basic EXs that are like half bent or something like that. Or you could be, like you said, like an NFL player that has hundreds of thousands of dollars in their collections or whatever. And that's like super, super, all of
The
them are
happiness is
special and all of them are equal. Exactly.
Yeah, the happiness is the same. You will see those millionaires, billionaires still also cheering for a kid to ripping a pack off maybe Journey Together. And if they
Hmm.
actually hit something good, everybody will cheer for him.
Hmm.
That's the moment that I really enjoy about.
Yeah. And it's something that's different and that I love like about the game, especially and about the hobby. That's really cool. You've said you've sold to like a whole bunch of like people and like NBA people and like celebrities, all that stuff. What's like the best or the craziest person you've sold to, if you're able to discuss about that?
Uh, I think it was he's a talk show guy. His name is Funny Marco.
Let me see.
Funny Marco, Marco.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's a comedian doing talk shows. From follower wise, he has like 5-6 million followers. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, that's cool. Nice. What did you sell then?
A la boo boo.
Oh, nice. Nice. So was it like a special one or was it just like a normal one?
No, we were met in the airport. And he's like, I
Oh,
saw you
really?
have a labubu. It was cool. I was like, I'll sell you a mystery box. And you open one. And
Nice.
that's the story.
Nice. That's awesome. I That's so cool. And stuff like that, like for example, like that's just like super cool. He's like he saw that you did it, or he saw that you sold it, or all that type of stuff. Again, exposure is super cool and like needed. But that's really cool. That's awesome. Um, that's awesome. I what so obviously like you've sold like obviously in like collections or like collecticons shows vending. You don't obviously you sell online and like Instagram and stuff like that. But are there any other like things that you've sold on or like what for you has found like what's like you don't stream or anything like that, right? You solely do like high end stuff.
Usually, I use my Instagram as my main platform to sell my products. I also use a little on the Facebook and on TikTok. And my streaming is basically usually only for me ripping packs. I want to share the happiness with everybody, or share the bad luck with everyone. I always use my stream for ripping packs, and yeah, I would say I mainly only use Instagram and the shows.
Yeah, that's awesome. I That's cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Um, Instagram, I love this, and this is something that I learned about early about Instagram too, was that obviously if you're doing like a deal or something like that, like there's no fees essentially. Pretty much like if it's just a text message or something, or if you agree to a meetup through Facebook or Instagram or whatever it might be, like that you do the cash or you do the Venmo or you do the Zelle or whatever it is. There's no like eBay, for example. If you're selling on eBay, eBay is going to take a crazy amount of fees. eBay is going to be doing a whole bunch of stuff. Um, and it's different. Like, or not
For
different, but it's
yeah,
better.
for any platform besides eBay, Macari, the issue is you need to build your trust. You need to let
Mhm.
people to believe you, and For Instagram, it's easy because you can cross-checking with a lot of other people. On a Facebook or on other platform, it's just a little harder because they don't have a dedicated page for themselves. On Facebook, you only have a name like Mark Cuban. He DM
Yeah.
you. He says, "I'll sell you this for $200. You just sell me 200. I'll ship you." But you
Mm,
don't you don't really know if he's real or not. But on Instagram, you can always check. Oh, this guy also follows him. He's from Florida. Let me check this Florida guy. Is he knowing each other? Like, it just makes the deal easier.
hmm And like it builds trust and like helps like min mitigate like scams or like lessen scams and stuff like that,
Yeah,
which is like really cool and really good. Which is obviously happens a lot, sadly in the Pokemon space, which I hate. But
yeah. I
it's
was
definitely a
recently
part
also
of it.
got scammed for some products. I bought something from a very long term vendor, and I paid him money. He just gone missing.
Wow, I'm sorry
Yeah.
about that.
It always the thing is you gotta actually like believe the person and you need to know that this guy will never vanish, will never run away.
Yeah.
This is a hard thing, and I don't have a very good suggestion. Maybe the best one would be just meeting up at a show or like at some middleman places, so you can make sure the deal is always goes through well, unless you really know the person well.
hmm
Like a lot of my customer, they know me well. They've been buying from me for tens of the times, so they already know I'm good. But
hmm
yeah, I would suggest if you're buying something big, always cross-checking with other vendors and other friends if this person is trustworthy and if he has been any ongoing issues.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that that's so true and that's so great. And it's sad that it happens so often. That and like obviously like theft and stuff like that. It's so sad that it happens. But it's it's part of the hobby in a way. And it's horrible, but making sure that what you're doing is right, or like for example, like a Facebook Marketplace deal, meet in front of a bank or like a police station or something like that. That's like safe for not only for both people. It's not safe for only the buyer, but it's also safe for the seller. And if the seller's open to doing stuff like that and is willing to work with the buyer, like that's obviously really good. That's obviously going to help both people really well, and is going to build reputation both within the buyer and the seller because like you said, you've had people that do tens of deals with you, that have done multiple deals with you, and it's building that trust because again, if they trust you, you make more money, they get what they want, etc. So it's like it's just basic practices of business really, and
Yeah.
like conducting good business, and all that type of stuff to make sure that it all parties are like well received and like well in good favor with each other. So that's really cool. Yeah. What was so something that I like to always ask my guests that I have on the podcast, and obviously you kind of said it before with like you when you got into Pokemon, you did like this really big buyout of all like the big Grail cards, and like you're very happy with it, and it kind of like made you um it kind of solidified like you being in the Pokemon space. But I always like to say like, what was your first Charizard? Essentially, like what was like the very first card you um, bought, sold, sell. So for you, I would say like what you said like what has been the craziest deal for you. You said what has been like the craziest buy for you, or the buy that got you into Pokemon with um, like buying
Okay.
all these really expensive cards. But like, what was like a really fond memory and big experience for this that got you like you're like okay I want to do this like more.
Um, I think the first deal that makes me want to make more money on Pokemon or like doing more business and with the Pokemon is when I sell that Battle Boost Lily, the Japanese one,
Mhm.
the one from Sun and Moon. She's like that with the colorful background. I don't know if that rings a bell.
TCG, you said it again, it was a Lily.
Lily Battle Boost GX. Lily.
Let me see here. Sorry.
In Japan, they call it a fighting lily.
Oh, this one. Yes, I see you. I see it. This one.
Yeah,
Let
that car.
me
Yeah, you
let
can
me
show the
share
camera.
screen. Yeah,
I actually have one.
this one.
Yep, yep, exactly that one. In Japanese, that car now worth about $15,000.
Hmm.
At 2024, I got a chance to buy this car for 6,000. I sold it immediately for 8,000.
Wow.
And that point, I was like, wow, Pokemon is actually something not only collecting, but also like it's like a business. You can actually making money. A lot of people feel it's shameful to make money out of Pokemon, but I think it's normal. If you don't always get make money or you don't like get extra funds, how would you be able to buy more cars you wanted? You can't always just go outflow but no inflow. So they need to understand like making money is also like a key point in the Pokemon. And no one wants to lose money all the time. When they buy a card and they sell, they lose money, and the next day they want another Charizard, they bought another one. That's not how it works.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was the first card I made some significant income out of it. And then I just getting more into the Pokemon and I start buying more. I think in last year a lot of people know me because I offer 100% comp on Ponchos in the
Hmm.
December, November last year. That was very that at that time the Ponchos were kind of dead. The market is very dead. And I'm just like, I feel this card will go up. Let me just buy them
Hmm.
like a stock. I'm buying Apple stock, 10 shares, 20 shares, that was $10,000, $20,000. Why not just buy like three, five ponchos, see how they go? And with that kind of belief and mindset, I just been scooping them.
Hmm.
And I guess I got it paid off in the
Yeah.
eventually.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. And that's like, I love what you're saying about that. And for me, because that's very true for me, because obviously people think like Pokemon business, oh, they're like a scalper, oh, they're doing this, oh, they're doing that. Why are you trying to make money off a hobby? And it's like, well, first off, number one, Pokemon is the biggest IP in the world. So it's like one of the biggest IP, one of the biggest trademarks in the world. So obviously there's going to be a resale market for it. And number two, there, yes, it's a hobby. It's a very expensive hobby for some people, but it's going to make the fact that people can make money in it and like make a genuine business on it and it's fun is like really cool and I think is really healthy for the space. And I think that it drives the space because like you said exactly, you don't want to be, this guy, you're like, oh, I bought this for $20 and then you sell it for for, $10 to a vendor. You just lost $10 or whatever while the vendor made $10. And it's like you don't want that to happen. You don't want that to be like that's just part of how Pokemon works and how part of like how the business side of it works. And then again, like you said, ponchos with the stocks, it's very true. I think what was it? There was like a card. I think it was a video that I saw, like essentially like if you bought Pokemon 5 years ago and you put, $100,000 in whatever or whatever Pokemon product it was, it would have like, 11x in value or whatever. But compared that to an S&P 500 stock, it would have only like I think like 2x or something like it was
Yeah,
like
there was an
something very
article on Wall Street Journal talking about in last decade,
yeah,
Pokemon index been going up like 3,000% versus S&P 500 going up like 500%. Which
exactly.
yeah,
Yeah. And I think that that's something like that's very true and is obviously like you obviously see with a lot of high end, it's just an alternate way to make money. Like what's the price of gold right now? Let me look. Price of gold for an ounce.
before the pandemic, before the COVID, before and after COVID, cars already went up like 5, 10 times.
Hmm.
Just that 3 months, 3 years. That was the how to say the golden time of these
Hmm.
collectibles. All everything's been going up at that time. Watches, wines,
Hmm.
and people need to spend money somehow. during the lockdown time, so they decided
Mhm,
to collect the Pokemon card, and that was the time for them to boom.
mhm,
And without vendors, without like people who are like actively buying these cards, the market will crash without these people.
mhm,
If only just me and you, we two trading, there wouldn't be that kind of pump, dump, everything.
mhm,
We need vendors in this kind of business. Anything is the same. They need vendors in the sneaker business, need vendors in the watch business. Like this is a normal, I would say, a normal happening in the business world. If there's a interest, there's a gain, there will be people doing it. So I don't feel shame for doing Pokemon as a business. And if
no,
this card drop, like people don't like the card, guess who take the most loss? The vendors will take the most
yeah,
loss.
exactly. In like reality, it's the vendors, it's us, like the people that sell them, that have the most faith in it and want the market to be well and want everyone to have fun within the hobby. Because if everyone's having fun, we're making money, people are making money, people are making happy, like they're being happy, they're making memories, all that type of stuff. And I
Yeah,
think that that's something that is very important. It's like an ecosystem, you know, it just
yeah, that's
functions, everyone feeds off each other. There's not, obviously you're going to have your rotten eggs here and there. It's not going to be, not everyone's going to be very kind, and that's just human nature. But at the end of the day, generally everyone is helping each other grow in whatever event area that they're doing. And it's just very, very important for people to know, and like for people to have. You said that, I want to go back to what you're saying about, you say you're scooping ponchos up at 100% in December. Obviously, we've been seeing like a little bit of, I guess, a market correction or a little softening of the market, whatever you want to call it, these past like couple weeks, you know, like couple, and it's predicted to go into the holiday season. Like, kind of, how are you thinking about that? Like, like, what do you think about that, about the markets, or like how does it affect your niche, or like how is that? Do you think it's going to work out for you?
I think the overall the poncho market, the poncho between the Asia and US, they are like they are just flowing between two like countries, the China, Japan, and the US. Whenever the US price goes up, there will be a lot of shipments from the Eastern Asia to here. And with more and more auction going on in here, the price will inevitably dropping a little bit. And then at that point in Japan, in China, there will be less supply of those cars, and the buyback price will go up. And
Hmm.
at that moment, like now, I also sell some of the punches to Japan because they pay really well. And after Japan gets enough supplies, gets enough inventory, they will lower the buyback price. And in US, there will be less supply. Sorry. So I don't really worry about the market of the poncho because I'm still buying, and if they crash, that's the market, and I have no control of that.
Hmm.
And I believe more and more people are actually buying the ponchos because I sell more to the collectors nowadays rather than the
Hmm.
vendors when I first began. I do think the collectors are like having more faith and more interest into the high end Pokemons.
Yeah.
And talking about the correction is more like from like 10 grand to 9 grand, or
Hmm.
from like 11 grand to 10 grand. That kind of like 10%, 5% dropping, it's like, I think it's normal
Hmm.
variance between the different auctions. Maybe the auction was in a smaller eBay account. Maybe the card condition was not that great. Maybe it was the old cert, old label. Everything could impact. But compared to most other cards, ponchos are more in my opinion, whenever I sell a card, whenever I get like a lot of inventory, I want to eventually turn into a poncho because I know poncho equal to liquid cash in the Pokemon world. Like it's harder for you to maybe
Yeah.
sell like three Umbreon VMAX,
Hmm.
but it's easy for you to sell a Charizard Poncho X. They're
Yeah.
about the same value.
Hmm. No, I think that's really cool, and like that you figured out is awesome. And like kind of what you're saying is, and this is kind of like my opinion on it too, is like, yeah, there might be a little market correction here and there, but it's adapting. You know, what I think is, and kind of what I think, like obviously everyone within the past couple months, Pokemon's booming, everyone's become a vendor essentially. You know, you have people that don't really care about it, they're vending and they just want it, they're in it for the quick money or whatever it might be. But I think the real vendors, the true vendors, the people that are in it to stay, they're gonna stay, but then those people that are like, they're like, oh no, I bought my, 200 packs uh of what was the of Destin Rivals, and they were $10 a pack, and now they're $7 a pack. I just lost however much money they lost. Like they're gonna be like, I'm out of this. It's just gonna crash and burn and all that stuff. Those people are gonna leave, and then there's gonna be more opportunity to buy up a lot of inventory, more opportunity to fill up. So when the market goes back up, everyone will be in a better position. But it's gonna be those people that stay. They're gonna be the ones that are like going to reap the benefits. And what you're saying is like adapting. You're like, okay, the poncho market flows from Japan to China. I know this. I've been doing it for a good time. I know how the markets move if it goes down in or Japan and US, sorry. But it's like if it goes up in the US, then it's going to be down in Japan. If it goes down in Japan, it's going to be up. Like you know how to position it so that one, you make the most money, but two, you're you can continue to grow a business, continue to reinvest and grow a Pokemon business,
Yeah.
and doing all that stuff, which I think is like really cool, and is really really good,
Yeah.
and very similar to me. It's like maybe not all the big stuff will sell in the Pokemon like if it softens, but the smaller stuff will. So maybe positioning myself in the smaller things, the more niche things, the more very collector things. I know this person wants 100,000 or wants 100 junk slabs. Okay, maybe I'll go to a show and just buy as much junk slabs as I can so I can offload it to this person and make money. Um, and it's just like finding again connections and like knowing the difference between the two. I think
Yeah.
it's like very cool, and I agree with you with what you've been saying, and I think it's like very very true. Um,
Yeah. I always sell to like some of my friends. They don't know about Pokemon. They're also thinking about investing, and they're asking me my opinion. I'm like, if you like Pokemon and it has the sentimental value to you, just buy it and keep it at home and look at it from time to time. Don't always just go on out and check everyday sales. Oh, I bought this car for 2K. There was an auction did 1880. Oh, am I losing money? Oh, the next day it did like 19. Oh, it went up. You don't have to. You just buy the car and you like it. You keep it for a little bit, and it will go up or it will go down. You can't actually change anything. If you like the Pokemon, you buy it and invest it. But if you only use this for a gamble, there's a lot more better tools for you to gamble. You can do Bitcoin, you can do stock, anything. You don't have to necessarily do Pokemon.
mhm,
I like Pokemon, so I do it and I dare to put my money in.
mhm.
And that's what I've been telling them. Yep.
Yeah, and I think so. Very true, and like there's risk to it. Obviously, it's a resale market. It's a market. There's going to be risk if you put your money in Bitcoin or if you put in S&P 500 or if you put in whatever, like bonds or whatever, there's going to be risk to it. And Pokemon, there is a greater risk, but obviously there's a greater reward. And something that I've talked to one of my friends, so I'm good friends with GoToPulls Arvin. I speak to him on a pretty like consistent basis. And something that I know that he said and is like his net worth is all Pokemon. So if Pokemon crashes, it looks like he's doing really good right now. He's doing really good because Pokemon's doing good. But if everything crashes, he's done. Like
Oh,
everything, and it's like I think it's the same for a lot of people, and like I kind of hear you like saying that as well. Like we have faith in the market, and like we know we have a generally good understanding of what Pokemon does and like how this world works. But for me, for example, after high school, I want to build my business in the Pokemon space. I want to be a very successful collecticon vendor, travel vendor, etc. Um, and if Pokemon goes to zero, then pretty much everything that I've worked hard for goes to zero. And again, it's like obviously the chances of that happening are very low because Pokemon again is like a super big um, IP, etc. But I think that
it happened in
now as well.
2023. It happened in 2023. All the Japanese
Yeah.
cars crashed like 70%, 80%. But you know, you can never like predict anything. It's just you
Yeah.
gotta find a way to live through this business. Like those
Yeah.
sneakerhead, they probably be losing very bad in the last
Hmm.
couple of years. There's nobody buying sneakers, and the shoes getting older and older and hard to move, become bricks. It's just something like see how the public's interest, like how long
Hmm.
they will be there, and how healthy this system will be, and will there be enough interest? Will there be enough supply demand? Everything kind of matters, and like it's hard to estimate. For me, it's also a gamble on Pokemon. Life is a gamble. You can't
Yeah.
actually like it's a must win. So if Pokemon crash, I would take a huge L too. But
Yeah.
it's the path you choose.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like whatever's worth it, obviously. And for example, like you're someone that has obviously done well doing Pokemon. So for you, it's like, okay, yes, the risk is great, but the reward that I've gone through taking this risk is far greater. So I'm just going to keep on taking that risk. I'm going to keep on pushing. My life has completely changed because of Pokemon. I've been able to meet people, have access to things, be able to do things that I never thought I would do at my age because of Pokemon. So it's like, why not keep on doing it? I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's obviously there's good money in it. And it's like I've been able to meet so many people, like half the people that like I've met my best friend through Pokemon. I've met, like a lot of business partners and mentors through Pokemon. I've been able to meet people that have offered me jobs or positions or whatever outside of Pokemon because they see my work ethic within Pokemon and they're like, I see that. I want you to put that into this business that I'm thinking about, or I want you to put into this. And it's just very one, it's humbling, and it's like I'm very grateful for everything that's I've been able to do, and like all that type of stuff. But
Yeah.
um, but at the same time, it's like none of that would have ever happened if Pokemon didn't exist. So I'm just going to keep on taking that risk with Pokemon because I know it's the rewards of it are far greater than the benefit than the downsides of it. Um, and yeah, so I think that's great. Um, so I don't know.
Yeah.
That's just me going on a tangent. But
I
I think that's really cool. I what has been your obviously we're talking about memories, talking about all that stuff you've sold to a lot of people, but like if you were to choose maybe one or a handful of memories, what has been like the most like your favorite memory, whether like you're collecting, maybe ripping a pack, you said you ripped that Charizard, like what has been your favorite memory within Pokemon?
There's a couple. Um, after I completing my Poncho set, I noticed that there is a set called a Team Rocket suitcase. Comes with the two very cool art, Giovanni and Team Rocket Return. And I just get obsessed with the card. And I love Giovanni. He's my favorite character in the Pokemon.
Mhm.
And I just used a lot of networks, and thanks to Victor Viridium collectibles,
Mhm.
he helped me got the Giovanni and the Team Rocket. That set, after I got that set, I made like a frame for it, and that was one of the happiest moment. I got the two cards, like these two.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I bought them around like 17,000 a year ago. Now I've
Mhm.
been offered like 30,000. I didn't
Oh,
want to sell it.
yeah. Can I see them again?
Yep.
I just saw a quick glance, and then awesome. That's like nice. Do you bring those to shows with you?
Sometimes depends on my mood. Yeah.
Mm,
And I also have a very great moment with one of my friend, Yang Ma. He's a local friend. He does a lot of BGS, GCR stuff. He helped me graded my Umbreon and Espeon VMAX, both
mm.
Black Label.
Oh
And
wow,
yeah, I got it here too. These two.
that's awesome.
He graded both for me in the same show, but sadly they were not sequential. But still, I Umbreon and Espeon are my two favorite Pokemon, and you can tell my logo is also Pikachu with
Mhm.
Umbreon Poncho, so
Yeah,
I'm happy
no,
with them. Yeah,
yeah,
And from the ripping packs, I would say one of the craziest moment was I ripped that Gengar Pikachu.
Oh wow.
That card is in last 10 years in the last 5 years in TCG world. That's the single most expensive card you can rip.
Hmm.
The raw was about $2,000.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
there's not
that's
many
crazy.
other
Yeah.
cards you can rip from a new set, from a still printing set that worth $2,000.
Hmm. Yeah,
And
that's crazy. Was it from a single pack or was it from like a booster box?
I opened a case. There are 20 boxes. I opened 9 boxes and I got the Gengar Chew.
Dang, that's
And
awesome.
I saw the
Okay.
box was down, and some people bought the loose boxes. They hit another one, so there were
Wow,
two Gengar Chew in one case.
that's crazy. That's
Yeah,
crazy. I think that's like the alternate, or it's not alt art, but whatever the equivalent of the alt art is, essentially the art rare of it was.
it's
That's
an
like my
illustration
go-to.
rare. It's an illustration rare. Yeah.
Uh,
And
My
and recently I opened the. It was funny. I opened in the same day, in one day. I opened the 3 ETBs of Mega Evolution English. I ripped the Golden Lucario, and I
crazy.
traded him. I traded my Golden Lucario for 4 boxes of Japanese Phantasmal Flame, Infernal
Mhm.
X they call it, and we ripped the gold Charizard
Oh my goodness. So you're just on a roll.
on a roll. Literally, then
Yeah.
last night I was watching a streaming. There's a
Uh-huh.
Chinese boss. He ripped the 3,000 packs for that gold Charizard, and he
Dang,
missed it. He spent about $15,000 to find that Charizard, and he
that's crazy.
missed it. It's just
That's that's wild.
Pokegod is always just equalize
Hmm.
everything. Not
Hmm.
that, not that because you're rich you can always get the hit, or not because you're poor you don't never get the stuff. I've seen people rip the God pack from one pack, and I've also
Yeah.
seen people ripping 3,000 packs get nothing.
Yeah. No, it's all luck. And I have a funny story about that. So, well, first off, congratulations. It's awesome. Are you getting the Charizard graded, or is
It's
it
in
not graded?
PSA, but the PSA has been so packed right now. They haven't even opened my package yet.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of. I want to send it probably this week, but I don't even know if it'll get there by LA. It might not.
My
It might take
$40
forever.
tier I sent a month ago, still order prep. They haven't even opened the package yet. So
Yeah, it's crazy. It's wild. But funny story about luck. So I don't rip Pokemon. Like I try not to rip as much, just because for me it's like doesn't make sense from a business perspective. It's like a straight loss if I don't pull anything good. Um, and it's hard for me to rip a pack. I just have never had good luck. But for the first time in a couple months, like 6 months probably, I ripped a pack with my friend Max because we were doing a show all weekend and like I slept over at his house and his dad's like a very big corporate executive. And he like loves just ripping. Like he doesn't really do collect like he doesn't do like slabs or anything like that, but he just loves ripping. Like he'll
he
go
likes
to a
degen. He's a degenerate.
yeah, exactly. Yes, he loves degenning, and he'll go like to Target, pick up like as many boxes as he's allowed to, and he'll just rip all of them in the parking lot with him. And long story short, he brings out these random like black bolt like so to set up the thing. We come to his house. Me and Max are chilling, and we're comping our cards for the next show tomorrow. Kind of talking about what we want to do with the business, and like we're kind of like forming our vendor groups to be like an official like vendor group
Mhm.
here, and we're just talking, etc. And then his dad comes in from like he was at dinner with his mom. And he comes in, he's like, Black Bolt or White Flare, and we're like, Black Bolt. I don't know. He was like, which one do you like better, Rocco? I'm like, oh, Black Bolt. He's like, bet. He literally goes back. He comes back like 2 minutes later and has like a booster collection, not booster collection, like the six
Posters,
pack one.
all 6 pack, the
The
binder.
Yeah. And he like just taught like he tosses it to us. We open it and we just all rip. And like I ripped I don't have it with me, but I ripped the Superior SIR like first pack. I was like, oh my goodness, that's crazy. And then everyone else didn't rip anything. But it's like I don't have good luck, but I guess when people get me stuff, I do. And I thought it was kind of funny story
It's
about
it's you if you consider ripping packs as like watching movie, having a dinner, that kind of like activity, then you are kind of like spending money on
Hmm.
Pokemon is just as spending money on going to a nice dinner because it
Hmm.
creates the same memories and
Hmm.
happiness for you.
Yeah.
That's how I justify myself of ripping
Yeah.
because I
Yeah.
know it's straight loss or like if I don't hit anything, but I just like ripping. You just can't help
Hmm.
you. The packs are there. They're there for ripping, not there for like sitting 20 years and sell to another guy for
Hmm.
200%, two thousand
Yeah.
percent more. Like, in my opinion, I like to rip all of them.
Hmm.
Like, if I have
Yeah.
chance and have enough money.
Yeah. No, that's fair. And I definitely like I see that, and like that's kind of like for me, it was like, I haven't ripped a pack in like 6 months, screw it, and then like let's just have fun and like do well. And we made our money for the day or whatever, so it's like, yeah, whatever. I can take a $20 loss, $40 loss from opening this pack or whatever it might be. But that's super. I think that I agree with you in that, like degenny, and that's also why I see the thing of ripping chips, because like one, I'm not ripping like them for myself, but I'm like ripping them for other people. But I don't know. I think that it depends on everything. What's the craziest thing you've ripped? Have you ripped like anything like a base set box or anything like super super crazy like that besides like team up you said? But
Mm, after we ripping 12 boxes of EV Heroes, we ripped the Umbreon VMAX Japanese.
well,
That's one of the craziest card I ripped. And I think that's about it. I don't really like ripping vintage because
mhm,
from economically speaking, it's definitely a big loss. No matter how you rip, because I used to rip a couple of those gym packs that guarantee holos in Japanese. It never gets me good stuff, and each pack basically worth the raw card of the top chase. Like Jam was probably Gengar, and the pack's like 300. The Gengar Raw is like 300, 400. So you
mhm,
basically ripping for the top chase. That kind of thing I don't really like. When
mhm,
I was ripping EV Hero, it was like $300 each, and Umbreon PSA 10 was around 3,000. So you
yeah,
have 10 chances to hit that.
yeah. No, I think that's true. Like I think that's a great way to see about it, and like putting like the consideration and like the time and the percentages on that, I think is like super super important, super super cool.
Yeah,
Um,
eventually I don't want a straight loss. I want to actually have some. If I get something or have a rate of return, I can have something. I can make back my loss. Like even I had a base set Charizard, it probably a PSA 8 or 9, and the price wouldn't be too high, and I would still lose money. And if
mhm,
you want to rip a base set Charizard, you probably need to have a box open. That box will cost you $30,000, which
yeah,
is not economically wise to do it.
mhm, yeah. I think that it depends on how you do it, and how everyone's doing that, and how everyone uses it, everyone views it differently. People might have like I in Chicago, like the vendor across from us had like a base set Shadowless first edition box, I think. It's like like worth 100 grand or whatever, and it's just like crazy and like
I saw it was
like
250,000 each.
yeah, it's like it's wild, and it's like imagine ripping that, like it's just
Most
it's
people
scary.
use most people use those boxes for streaming, and let people to team up to rip it.
Hmm.
And yeah, but for a person himself to do it is just kind of wild unless you're on different level of money.
Yeah, exactly. There's definitely levels to it, and that's something that I also noticed too in Chicago and like all the collecticons and all the shows and all the people that I've been meeting is like there's definitely levels to this Pokemon thing. It's definitely like crazy. Um, and yeah, I think it's like
The
really
good
really
thing
cool.
is all levels of people can enjoy Pokemon.
Hmm.
They have their niche
Exactly,
of the market.
exactly. I think that that's true, and that's awesome, and that's like really really great. Um, yeah. I don't want to keep you too long, obviously, because we're going, I know I value your time and all that type of stuff. I know
Yeah.
we're going a little long. But I want to hit one kind of like last thing, and it's for me would be before like we can if you have anything else you want to end on, but like you finding your niche in like super high-end Japanese market, how that's taking you places. Like, would you, if you were to restart it, like, would you continue, like, would you choose Japanese high-end again, or would you maybe choose like maybe like mass singles, or like what kind of led you to Japanese high-end? Kind of just touch back to that. And then what what like opportunities have you do you see in like other niches and stuff like that, I guess?
If I can have a chance again, I would definitely go into more of the lower end Japanese cards or exclusive things like Detective Pikachu, like Dido Pikachu, like all those small Pokemon Center promos back then, or like the Meowth promo. Like the smaller cards have a bigger potential to double triple,
Hmm.
where the bigger cards usually stay in the value very steady, slowly going up like 10%, 20%.
Hmm.
But if you're buying them like a stock, you buy 20 Dido Pikachu, it's the same value as a Pancho Rayquaza, where those 20 Didos could go up way more than the Pancho Rayquaza. That's the thing. The only thing I choose high end is that I don't like to deal with 20 different people to buy Didos.
Hmm.
I rather deal with one person, like, oh, I wanted this Pancho Ray, and I'll sell to you. Then dealing with 20 different people. Hey, can I do 280? Can you do 270? Can you do 260? And I need to pack 20 packages. That's the only part I hate about. Because I'm on like a one or two man team, the packaging we're all doing together. So I don't really want to ship that many packages. But if I can redo it, I'll definitely go into more into the lower end Japanese
Hmm.
exclusives because they are more demanded. They are more affordable.
Hmm. For sure. That's really cool, and thank you for that. Thank you, and thank you again for all your time that you've given. Um, my last question for you would be, or last two questions. My first one, what would be your piece of advice for people wanting to maybe start vending or maybe get into a different niche or really specialize on the niche? What would be your piece of advice for them? And then two, what are kind of like your goals? Obviously, we're in fourth quarter of the year, like financial year, but not only in Q4 of 2025, but like looking forward into next year.
Alrighty. For first, for the people who want to be vendors, I would say, Pokemon now is not a cheap business or hobby you can enter easy. You need to have you need to have like a sizable amount of money you want to be investing. It's not something you can just use couple hundred, couple thousand to start.
Mhm.
Maybe you could, but the experience is different. Different. If you want to legitly start it, you wanted to have some money you can use, you can control, and you don't feel sad when the price drops. That's the first idea. And the second is you need to be able to tell certain cards, like if they are really demanded cards, good cards, or are they deemed to drop. Examples like Pikachu Hoopa, that card one pointer was 2 grand. Pikachu Burger Pikachu, one pointer was 400 500. Those cards are definitely like a hype and dump example.
Mhm.
So you need to be able to find the cards that is truly stable, kind of like Rayquaza V Max, Giratina V. Those cards are like have a steady market of people buying.
Mhm.
And the third one I would say is going to more shows, go to more. Don't always think you can find a deal easy, like, or don't always think all the vendors get the cards at 80% easy. There's so many people doing the same thing like you do.
Mhm.
You need to find your niche. You need to be like there to invest your money into the cards. Like, don't always think you can find a Pancho Mario for 80%. There's not that thing happening.
Mhm.
If you are paying like close to market, that's what you gotta do. Because that kind of card, like nobody would sell you cheap.
Hmm.
But if you always just, you know, haggling about those couple hundred or like couple thousand, you eventually miss the chance to invest a good card. I've lost chances like that a lot of times. I haggle a couple $100 and I didn't buy it, and the next couple months the card just keep going up.
Hmm.
And what was your second question again?
Oh, like what are your goals like looking into the future and
Oh,
like for growing? Obviously you're doing your collected con, so I assume that's your like quarter four goals, like do really well at those, but like looking into the future, what's your goals personally?
yeah, this year I just started vending, so I want to finish my year strong with the conventions. But on the side, I also hired a couple marketing people. I'm building my website, building my TikTok, building my Instagram. Want to get more into the reels and the short videos, and also my YouTube. I'm gonna be uploading more of my longer time point of view videos. I feel like people like to see how the vendors and the collectors negotiating. And also, I'm thinking about doing my own streaming on a whatnot or Twitch. I'm still deciding platforms. And I'm also next year I wanted to open my own car shop in the Houston area. My car shop will be focusing on the Japanese high end, English high end, and also some of the raw cars for the local bodies. And I want to introduce the mystery bags, the
Mhm.
lucky bags, for people to have a chance to win. And also those claw machines. I'm gonna put
Mhm.
slabs into claw machine and let people to grab
Oh,
them.
I think that's awesome. That
Yeah,
sounds awesome. I'll
that
definitely have
sounds
to check
fun,
it
right?
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And lastly, I have like a wild idea. I haven't been able to do it because I'm so busy. I'm thinking about doing a travel vlog with Pokemon cards as the fund. What I will
Hmm.
do is I will put out a spinner. The price will be ranging from $10 to $15,000, and I spin the wheel. Whichever it land, that'll be the card I'll be using as the fund of my travel. And then I will throw
Really?
a dart on a map. Right now it could be US, later it could be the world, the map of US, and wherever I throw, I'll just use that money to go travel.
Oh, that's awesome. That sounds
So
really, really cool.
yeah, I'll bring like a $10 card, $10 Squirtle, and go into Ohio and sell to a car shop for like $8, and I'll be staying there for like 2 days with $8, and
Yeah,
or I can throw the dart to New York, and I got a card for like Mario and sell for like 15,000 and stay in New York
yeah.
for two. I want to like
That's really cool.
show people different kind of lifestyles
Yeah.
with different kind of money,
With
but with the
Pokemon, yeah,
Pokemon.
that's awesome. That sounds really cool, and I really love that idea. In regard to my goal is to have a card shop at the end of the day here in Nashville, or somewhere similar.
Oh yeah,
So I think that that's really cool that you're doing it, and that video vlog thing sounds so cool. Something I'm
yeah,
trying to do is more like vloggy style, like me building pretty much like a Pokemon company from zero to like the goal is to make like 6 figures a month, like kind of like that journey of building it up. And I want to start like doing like raw POV vlogs and stuff like that. That's
yeah.
something that I've been looking at, but that's really cool that you've been doing that. And again, like I look forward, but that sounds awesome. You're
I've seen
cooking up some good stuff.
some of the videos, the RGS and the Trader Joe's, they'll be like a zero to $1 million.
Yeah.
But that vlog, I've been seeing those. I just don't like to share my
Mhm.
financials, and it's
No,
just
that's valid.
different.
Yeah, no, it's definitely valid. I think that's true. But yeah, awesome. I don't know if you have anything else to talk about. If you don't, that's completely fine. Um,
You're in
but
Nashville, so you're close to Coop.
yeah, so actually, I saw Coop last weekend or this Sunday.
Oh,
We saw him at the Cards and More
PokéSells.
show. Him and Bearded Dad. We saw him at Cards and More, which was really
Oh,
cool.
Cards and More. Yeah, that's. Do you know Yumi?
I did not see her. No, I don't think I
Oh,
did see
never
her at the
mind.
Cards and More
But
show.
she always go to Cards and More and the
Cool. That's awesome. Yeah, I did not see her, sadly. But
and low
no,
key.
that's
Guess how much I made this year from Pokemon?
A million?
Close, 800,000.
800? Okay, I was gonna guess. I was actually gonna guess like 700,000, but
So
I
I
didn't
didn't
know
want
like
to do the
100,000.
$0 to $1 million shit. It will be like, oh, my one batch of those Ginga shoes, I can make probably like 30,000, and it's just I feel I'm like ripping people off if I'm showing those stuff.
Yeah.
But people need to understand it's like if I don't make a bread, there's no point for me bringing the cars, and you are better off just go to the vendors and paying 3,500 for each,
Hmm.
where I'm selling for like 3,000, 2,800. Like I think my price is fair because I have the advantage of people working for me in Asia countries,
Hmm.
and a lot of people here they don't have that kind of advantage, or they don't want to expand their market to connections to Japan.
Hmm.
Advice to you would
Yeah.
be like, do you have the app called Sneaker Dunk?
No, I don't.
Download it. SNKRDUNK.
Okay.
That thing will tells you how much a car sell in Japan
Hmm.
versus how much a car sells here. You can compare the TCG market. A good example is like I bought a 30 Charizard SIR from Phantasmal Flame for about 520 to 550. I can sell each for $800 here.
Wow.
That's a no-brainer. And they
Yeah.
sell on Sneaker Dunk for $600 too. You literally can buy like 20 of them and then grade them all, and you probably can PSA 10 a lot of them and sell them easy.
Wow.
A lot of people here only knows about the like I did that for the Terrestrial Festival.
Hmm.
I made a shit ton of those Umbreons. They were selling like 150 to $200 back then. I sell everything 350 and 400 here.
Wow.
Yeah,
I'll definitely look into that. That sounds like a printing opportunity.
yeah, it's a pretty up. My friend bought like 50 of the Terrestrial Festival Umbreons, and he graded two black labels, and
Wow.
each of them sold for 7,000.
Okay. He's giving free game, guys.
This
Giving
is
free game.
I'm telling you, this is the free. No, you don't have to show this part, but yeah, just telling you.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
And yeah, thank you again for everything, and thank you for coming on, Jay. I appreciate it. Where can I guess my very last question for you is, after all the great things that you've said, where can people find you, and where's your next show?
oh yeah. People can find me on the Instagram with J/Houston/PTCG, and also on TikTok J.Houston.PTCG. And that's my two main contacts. And my next show will be Collecticon Houston, Collecticon Dallas Fort Worth, Collecticon New Jersey, and Collecticon Los Angeles.
Awesome. Well, cool. Thank you, Jay, so much for coming on,
Yeah,
for
you can
spitting
make
all that
yeah. Thank you.
for spitting all that free game, and thank you everyone for watching. Make sure like, comment, subscribe, do all that type of stuff, and we'll see you
Yep.
guys next week.
You can
Bye.
make some what call edit and cut and shit,
Yeah.